competitive distance runner has to possess the most efficient athletic form possible. Wasted motion in distance running means wasted running energy. Wasting energy on every stride of a long distance run means greatly reducing potential as a distance runner. Identifying the optimum efficiency in every aspect of technique and suggesting drills to develop technique is the objective of this program.
Success in distance running is largely determined by one's inherent talent. However, training, technique work, including tactics, certainly plays its part in developing that talent. At our level of competition, we don't attempt to change drastically one's running form, but we do adapt our training program to their particular style of running. For example, Rudy Chapa, who has a ball of the foot strike on the ground, is on a training program that's different than Alberto Salazar, who has a heel to the ball of the foot strike.
Generally speaking, middle and long distance runners are physically lean of frame. However, a runner's potential cannot be judged on the basis of his body build alone. Vladimir Kutz, one of the greatest distance runners of all time, was a rather stocky man who started out to be a prize fighter. Efficient use of the head and trunk, arms, hips, and legs is necessary to become effective at distance running. The upper body must be relaxed in distance running. The head should stay in natural alignment with the upper body. The eyes are focused ahead. Any side-to-side movement of the head can be transmitted down through the trunk, causing unwanted rotational movement and wasted energy. The shoulders should be relaxed, allowing the upper arm to swing freely, yet conservatively in the shoulder sockets. If the upper body and shoulders are held rigid, the tightness can cause pressure on blood vessels, inhibiting blood flow, which can result in fatigue in the shoulders and arms.
We usually will not spend too much time in teaching a distance runner how to breathe. It is a natural function that one does normally. Occasionally, however, we will have a runner who has difficulty in breathing by either an uneven rhythm or too shallow of breathing. We will take this individual and teach him a 3 or 4 count rhythm of breathing depending upon the difficulty of the run.
For instance, a runner may develop a consistent 4-in, 4-out breathing rhythm for a moderate pace steady run and have to change down through a 3-in, 3-out rhythm going up a gentle grade, and down farther to a 2-in, 2-out rhythm for a sprint at the finish or for a steeper grade. The key to breathing is to develop a consistent pattern, one the body can become more comfortable with over a long workout, and being able to control the rhythm according to the situation. Another aspect of breathing while running is to breathe through the nose and mouth. Some runners, especially but not exclusively women, attempt to keep their mouth closed when running. In doing this, the runner inhibits the amount of air he or she is capable of inhaling and loses efficient breathing action. Breathe through the nose and mouth, even if it means inhaling a bug or two along the way. When exhaling, it is recommended to blow the air out only through the mouth, and to do so through pursed lips. Pursing the lips creates a better percentage of oxygen exchange in the lungs. In effect, breathing through pursed lips limits the airstream and makes more efficient use of each breath. Practice the technique of inhaling through the nose and mouth, breathing through a steady rhythm, and exhaling through pursed lips every time you run. Soon it will become second nature. Hip position for the distance runner is another vital concern. Runners should tilt the lower part of the hips forward while keeping the top of the pelvis back. This hip position can be demonstrated by lying on the ground and then flattening the small of the back against the ground. When this is done, the hips will be tilted forward into the correct position. This places the runner's center of gravity behind the pelvis area, allowing the runner greater range of movement in the striding motion. Also, with the hips in this position, the runner can eliminate wasted energy expended pushing the body up and over the hips in each stride. Additionally, running tall with the hips in this position helps develop a smooth running style, eliminating much of the up and down bobbing motion. Because it is desirable to hold the hips rolled somewhat forward while running, strong abdominal muscles are required to hold the position. If the stomach muscles sag, the pelvis and hips will come out of the most efficient alignment. Drills to strengthen the abdominal muscles include sit-ups and back extensions. Additional drills include laying flat on the back and rolling back with the legs overhead to touch the small of the back on the floor, simultaneously lifting the knees. Developing an efficient stride is necessary to become an effective distance runner. The key to stride length is to develop the most economical stride possible. Every time the foot strikes the ground, the center of gravity is directly over the leg. Many runners tend to overstride, extending the leg too far in front of the body, creating an up and down movement of the upper body as it rotates around the fulcrum of the extended leg. Though knee drive is not as important in distance running as it is in sprinting and hurdling, leg extension behind the body is extremely important. If the runner does not get full extension of the leg behind the body, he is limiting the drive off the leg and hampering the efficiency of his stride. With the shortened stride, he must take more strides per race, tiring sooner and losing speed. An effective drill for developing leg extension of the driving leg behind the body is bounding stadium steps. This can also be done while wearing a weighted vest. Hill running can also be used to develop extension and power in the driving motion of the legs. Two styles of foot landings are common in distance running. The prominent style, landing on the heel and rolling forward along the outside of the foot to the ball of the foot, is performed by perhaps 80% of all distance runners. The other style, landing on the ball of the foot, is the style more associated with sprinters. It's less common and it puts more strain on the foreleg. People who run on the balls of their feet tend to develop more stress fractures, problems with the Achilles tendon, and other lower leg afflictions that result from not distributing the shock of footfalls over the full area of the foot. The runner who runs on the balls of his foot, however, probably has developed larger calf muscles and may be able to sprint better towards the end of the race. Another consideration of foot placement for distance runners is the choice of shoes. All running shoes are not created equal, just as all runners' feet are not the same. Good shoes should have a raised heel for supporting the Achilles tendon and eliminating lateral movement of the Achilles. They should also have some arch support, the height of which will vary according to the runner. A good shoe will also have a broadened heel for supporting the structure of the leg, and a shock-absorbing sole of suitable quality to last through miles and miles of hard pounding. Most of the brand name manufacturers have developed a broad variety of suitable shoes for distance runners, and most shoe stores have experienced personnel on staff to recommend types of shoes for training. It should be noted, however, to never wear racing flats in training, as they do not offer the degree of protection that a well-built training shoe allows. The action of the arms for distance runners is different than that used by sprinters and hurdlers. The arm swings in rhythm with the legs, the forward driving arm compensating for the knee drive of the leg, yet the degree of movement is more limited. Rather than a high driving arm action with the elbow coming behind the body as in sprinting, distance runners should keep the arms lower, swinging in front of the body with a slight motion across the body. The hands are held fairly close together, as if the runner could hold a short stick in both hands as he runs. By holding the arms fairly high and not dropping the hands below the waist, circulation is improved in the arms, helping to eliminate fatigue in the shoulders and arms. The hands should be carried thumbs up and at a 45-degree angle with the fingers lightly cupped. The key to arm action for distance runners is to develop a conservative, efficient rhythm, relaxing the upper body as much as possible. Arm action does change late in the race, however, when the runner becomes a sprinter. Then he will lower the arms, pump them faster, and reach behind the body with the elbow, creating more drive in the arms to develop greater leg speed.
All else being equal in a distance race, it is often the employment of tactics and strategies that will determine who will be the winner. There are many concepts in strategies and tactics in distance running, but they all evolve around that you either want to take advantage of your strength or your speed. An example of a runner taking advantage of his strength would be the individual pushing the pace early in the race, making the pace hard. An example of one who is relying upon his speed is the individual setting back in the race, always in contact, but perhaps never taking the lead until the final 165, where he attempts to use his speed to win the race.
The choice of running style wholly depends on the runner's ability. Determining the strengths of a runner can be done early in his career by testing. From these tests, a program can be developed that will capitalize on his strengths, whether it be speed or pace awareness. The guiding philosophy for distance runners is to be aware of and use your strengths and try to cover your weaknesses. As the athlete grows older, he will naturally grow stronger and, with experience, be able to utilize his strong points developed through training to his best advantage. Tactics to practice and master, once the athlete has determined his strengths and weaknesses, include the following. Going out fast. This is particularly suited to mass road races, cross-country, and to a certain extent, on-track races. Going out fast means moving to the head of the pack and maintaining a fast pace until the rest of the field becomes strung out. In a road race, going out fast may mean running above the desirable pace per mile for over a mile, pulling away from the crowd, allowing yourself some free running room. In a shorter race, for example a mile or 800-meter race on the track, going out fast means putting yourself into an optimum position with the leaders toward the front of the pack and not letting yourself get boxed in. Varying the pace is a tactic that should only be tried by experienced runners who have calloused themselves to the technique and training. Varying the pace in a race often means throwing in a 58-second quarter mile in the middle of a 5,000-meter race or sprinting hard up and down a hill in a cross-country race. Varying the pace, bursting away from the pack for a short period of time, is an effective weapon late in the race. Psychologically, the competition may not be able to cope with the sprint, and a well-conditioned runner can put distance between himself and the pack. An effective way to prevent a runner from attempting to vary the pace is for a strong runner, whose strength is his ability to carry a race pace over a long period of time, to run faster than normal for several laps, eliminating the chance for the competition to throw in 1 or 2 fast laps. Training for a varied race pace is mandatory for success in competition. A variety of drills can be used for developing this tactic. One drill, called the 40-30 drill, involves a runner running a number of laps alternating between fast and slow 220s. He should attempt to run the fast ones no slower than 30 seconds, followed by a recovery 220 no slower than 40 seconds. Obviously, these times should be adapted to the particular age and ability group you are working with. This drill helps build up the endurance of a runner and will help him be able to push a hard pace over and over in a race. This drill is also useful in training a distance runner for the indoor competitive season where the track is shorter, with tight corners and longer and faster straights. Another drill effective for learning varied paces is to run approximately 2 miles, alternating sprinting for 55 yards, then jogging for 55 yards. The runner is barely able to get slowed down from the 55-yard sprint before it's time to go off on another one. Again, this drill strengthens endurance and speed, the two concepts involved in varying the pace in a distance race. Another tactic to be considered and practiced by distance runners is the strategy used at the finish of a race. At the end of a race, every distance runner becomes a sprinter, raising his knees to get better stride length and lowering the arms and pumping them faster to increase his leg speed. The distance runner is not concerned anymore about conserving energy. Rather, he attempts to use all his remaining energy in a sprint to the finish. This buildup may start anywhere from a half mile to 200 yards from the finish, depending on the individual strengths of the runner and on the strategy employed by other runners. A number of running drills can be performed to prepare the runner for using this particular tactic at the finish of the race. Called finishing drills, these drills can be tailored to fit the strategy of any runner depending on his race. Here are some examples of finishing drills. The first, called sprint, float, sprint, is run over 165 yards. In it, the runner sprints over 55 yards, then relaxes but runs at the same pace over the next 55 yards, and then sprints again over the final 55 yards. Next is the 330 build-up. Here, the runner covers 110 yards in 15 seconds, then he covers 110 yards in 14 seconds, then he covers his last 110 yards in 12 seconds. The same type of progression can be done over 660 yards, with the runner covering the first 220 in 30 seconds, the second in 28 seconds, and the last in 26 seconds. A similar finishing drill is cut down 330s. Here, the runner begins by covering 330 yards in the 50-second range and ends by covering the same distance in the 40s.
In cross country, road racing, and marathons, hills may be involved. One needs to know how to properly use the hill to his advantage, as it can mean the difference between winning and losing. Not only should you know how to run up the hill, but you need to know how to take advantage of the downhill section, where many runners attempt to rest.
When running up a hill, the runner should lean forward, bringing the center of gravity under the body rather than trailing it behind. If the runner attempts to stand upright, the center of gravity will fall behind the hips, creating the same over-the-hump situation discussed earlier. By leaning forward into the hill, the hips are brought into a more efficient position. At the same time, the arms are lowered, becoming more aligned into the sprinting position and pumped faster to pick up leg speed. The stride length is shortened, the runner taking smaller steps but moving the legs faster. Breathing rhythm will change too, possibly stepping up the rhythm 1 or 2 beats faster than when on even ground. As the athlete clears the top of the hill, his stride should lengthen, arms should relax, and his breathing will become more normal. The downhill has traditionally been the place where many distance runners rest, regaining their strength after expending themselves by charging up the hill. But this is also a place where the experienced runner can make up much time on his competition or increase his advantage on the rest of the field. By running downhill rather than coasting or resting, the athlete will cover the course much faster than others with a fairly small exertion of energy. If it is a steep hill, the athlete will need to lean back a bit, but on most hills he should try to stay over the hips as on a flat, allowing him to stride out going down the hill. Gravity plays a large role in learning to run downhill properly. You don't want to fight gravity or break against it downhill, as is experienced when the runner leans back, landing heels first, and flapping the arms to maintain balance. To work with gravity in running downhill, the athlete must attempt to get his body as nearly perpendicular to the running surface as possible, with the upper body weight over the hips and the hips over the heels. In contrast to running uphill, the arms will be brought close to the chest. Rather than pumping fast, they should be brought into a rhythm with the legs and help control the running form and speed. Effective downhill running takes practice, and it's not something that can be developed over a short period of time. Start on a gentle slope, preferably grass-covered, and work at bringing the weight forward so the center of gravity does not trail the body. Gradually increase your stride length and leg speed until eventually you are running with the hill, using your body weight and gravity to put distance between yourself and the field. The key to distance technique is to optimize the efficiency of all the body parts involved in running. Energy exerted to swing the arms, move the head, or to push the trunk up and over the fulcrum of the hip is wasted energy, energy that could be put to better use in running more efficiently. If an athlete understands the principles and tactics involved in distance running technique, he can apply them to his particular situation and style and improve as a distance runner.